Hello, niece and nephew. Today we're gonna dive into the last chapter of transport layer in computer networks. Hiya, let's go. Here is the outline of this chapter. 1. Introduction. 2. Transport layer protocols. 3. User datagram protocol. 4. Transmission control protocol. The user datagram protocol is a connectionless, unreliable transport protocol. It does not add anything to the services of IP except for providing process to process instead of host to host communication. UDP is a very simple protocol using a minimum of overhead. UDP packets called user datagrams have a fixed size of header of 8 bytes made of 4 fields, each of 2 bytes. Here is a figure of user datagram packet format. Example 3.11. The following is the contents of a UDP header in hexadecimal format. And this header format can describe with this question. And here is solution of previous questions. Okay, let's go. UDP services. Earlier we discussed the general services provided by a transport layer protocol. In this section, we discuss what portions of those general services are provided by UDP. Okay, this is a figure of pseudo header for checksum calculation. UDP applications. Although UDP meets almost none of the criteria we mentioned earlier for a reliable transport layer protocol, UDP is preferable for some applications. The reason is that some services may have some side effects that are either unacceptable or not preferable. An application designer sometimes needs to compromise to get the optimum. Okay, example 3.13. A client server application such as DNS use the services of UDP because a client needs to send a short request to a server and to receive a quick response from it. The request and response can each fit in one user datagram. A client-server application such as SMTP, which is used in electronic mail, cannot use the service of UDP because a user can send a long email message. Assume we are downloading a very large text file from the internet. We definitely need to use a transport layer that provides reliable service. We don't want part of the file to be missing or corrupt when we open the file. Some we are using a real-time interactive application such as Skype. Audio and video are divided into frames and sent one after another. Is sent using one single user datagram. Transmission Control Protocol or TCP is a connection-oriented reliable protocol. TCP explicitly defines connection establishment, data transfer, and connection teardown phases. To provide a connection-oriented service, TCP uses a combination of GPN and SR protocols to provide reliability. Before discussing TCP in detail, let us explain the services offered by TCP to the processes at the application layer. Okay, this is a figure of stream delivery. TCP sending process by stream of bytes to receiving process. This is a figure sending and receiving buffer. And this is TCP segments. To provide the services mentioned in the previous section, TCP has several features that are briefly summarized in this section and discussed later in detail. Suppose a TCP connection is transferring a file of 5000 bytes. The first byte is numbered 10,001. What are the sequence numbers for each segment if data are sent in 5 segments, each carrying 1000 bytes? Solution: the following show the sequence number for each segment. Before discussing TCP in more detail, let us discuss the TCP packets themselves. A packet in TCP is called a segment. Here is a figure of TCP segment format. Control field, pseudo header add to the TCP datagram. TCP is connection oriented as discussed before. A connection oriented transport protocol establishes a logical path between the source and destination. All of the segments belonging to a message are then sent over this logical path using a single logical pathway. For the entire message facilitates the acknowledgement process as well as retransmission of damaged or lost frames. And here is the topic continued. It is a figure of connection establishment using three-way handshaking. This is data transfer. Okay. Here is connection termination using three-way handshaking. And this is hard cross. To keep track of the different events happening during connection establishment, connection termination, and data transfer, TCP is specified as the finite state machine as shown in figure 3.51. Windows in TCP. TCP uses two windows, send window and receive window, for each direction of data transfer, which means 4 windows for a bidirectional communication. To make the discussion simple, we make an unrealistic unidirectional. The bidirectional communication can be inferred using two unidirectional communications with piggybacking. And here is figure of send window in TCP and receive window in TCP. Okay, flow control. As discussed before, flow control balances the rate a producer creates data with the rate a consumer can use the data. TCP separates flow control from error control, and between the sending and receiving, TCP is error-free. Here is a figure of data flow and flow control feedback in TCP. And an example of flow control. Error control. TCP is a reliable transport layer protocol. This means that an application program that delivers a stream of data to TCP relies on TCP to deliver the entire stream to the application program on the other end in order, without error and without any path loss or duplicated. Here is a figure of normal operation. It has three rules. Rule 1 is when NA sends a data segment to NB, it must include an acknowledgement. Rule 2, the receiver needs to delay sending an X segment if there is only outstanding in order segment. Rule 3, there should not be more than two in order unacknowledged segments at any time. Here is a last segment. This is fast retransmission. This is a figure of lost acknowledgement. And this is a figure of lost acknowledgement collected by resending a segment. TCP uses different policies to handle the congestion in the network. We describe these policies in this section. Here is a figure of slow start, exponential increase. And here is a congestion avoidance additive increase. Summaries the chapter 3. UDP is a transport protocol that creates a process-to-process communication. UDP is a reliable and connectionless protocol that requires little overhead and offers fast delivery. The UDP package is called a user datagram. Transmission Control Protocol or TCP is another transport layer protocol in the TCP IP protocol suite. TCP provides process-to-process, full duplex, and connection-oriented service. The unit of data transfer between two devices using TCP software is called a segment. A TCP connection consists of three phases: connection establishment, data transfer, and connection termination. TCP software is normally implemented as a finite state machine. And this is the end of this chapter. Bye bye.